So today we're going to talk about the term enlightened. Why do we want to talk about this term enlightened? It's because you hear people that say, before I became enlightened, or those that are enlightened, they are the ones with the knowledge, and they say if you're enlightened, which obviously you can see the word light right in the middle, right? Enlightened, those that have the light or the ability to see. And when you look at this word light, another word that comes up a lot is to be illuminated, because light illuminates things. And most people will say, what? Illuminati. You can spell it many ways. But those that are enlightened are the people with the knowledge, the know-how, the ones that are at the top. When you look at the top, we look at the pyramid, okay? The pyramid like this, and then you see the eye at the top. And they call this the all-seeing eye, because this eye at the top is able to see, because those at the top, they control the masses at the bottom, and the power flows downwards, right? So they will say the elite, or those who have the money, the riches, the power, etc., are illuminated or Illuminati, who have the all-seeing eye and control the masses that are down. Now, in Wu-Sabat, we come along and we say, you don't need to be enlightened, but you need to be endarkened. So when we say endarkened, obviously you see light here and you see dark here. And when you start to look at everything that is associated with darkness, dark evil, dealing with even witchcraft, you see the witch, she will wear like a black suit with a cone kind of hat. But when you start to really look at things, everything light is seen to be good and everything dark is seen to be bad. You know, you look at the movies in the past anyway, the good guys would always wear white, the bad guys will wear black. When it's getting to a horrible or kind of like a horror scene, it's like everything is dark. But that's just because this is back to front. And when we start to look at who really has power and look at the fact that they tell you that God is supposed to be the most powerful being, God said what? Let there be light. So the reason we say you need to be endarkened is because in order for God to say let there be light, in the Bible, Quran talks about Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. And you know, God saying let there be light means that God was dwelling in darkness. If God dwells in darkness, then light comes out of darkness, and Lucifer is referred to as the morning star, which is the star obviously refers to what? Light, refers to light, okay? Now when you start to look at the fact that he's referred to as a star, then you look at the image of Baphomet, you look at the star, you see this star, you will see that star, the 5-pointed star that is on Baphomet. If you don't know who Baphomet is, it's the half goat, half man, woman. It has breasts, it has the shape of a man, it's got animal, it's all in one, right? And you see this 5-pointed star, because there are two stars. There's a 6-pointed star, and then you have the 5-pointed star. And you go to Hollywood, you want to see on the Walk of Fame, or where all the stars are, you see these stars. The 5-pointed star is the one you see. And you look at the flags of countries, you mainly see the 5-star. Look at the American flag, look at other flags, you're going to see 5-pointed stars, which ties into what I said, Baphomet, okay? So again, you go do research of who and what that Baphomet is. But let's get back to being enlightened. You're told or given the impression that it's a good thing, and to be dark, you're told that it's a bad thing, but really you flip it and it's the other way around. And as I said, if God said let there be light, that means God was in darkness, okay? In darkness. Now, how does this relate to you as a person today? Because sometimes people might be like, okay, all this information is great, but how does that help? It helps because when we start looking at this all-seeing eye, and then people refer to you as a being, right? If we were to draw you, you have eyes also, right? You've got eyes right there. Excuse the drawing. Now, this says the all-seeing eye of the control, or the people that supposedly are enlightened, Illuminati, etc. Even though these are actual people that make up what people are calling the Illuminati, or the illuminated ones, the ones that see what's going on. And you look at the owl being a bird, it's got two eyes at the front, doesn't it? And it's supposed to be able to see and turn its neck around and see everything from above, high down, okay? But then God is supposed to be higher than all those on earth. Now, you are here too, and you got eyes, right? These eyes here. And these eyes allow you to see what? Everything that is lit up, or we say light, because without light, you won't be able to see everything around you. However, those who get, let's go with that term, enlightened, or supposed to be on higher conscious, or they are woke, these are all the terms you hear, right? You hear terms like being awoke, or the woke folk, meaning that you're no longer asleep. And those people with the higher consciousness or being awoke or woke, they say they have another eye here. So what am I getting at? When we say you're undarkened, and we're saying that because light has a visible light spectrum, which you can just Google, right? The visible light spectrum is showing you everything you can see around you with these eyes. Yeah, goes back to the story in the Bible of Adam and Eve, and being in the garden, and the serpent, right? The serpent telling them that if they eat of the fruit, their eyes shall be open to know. When your eyes are open, you're going to know, not believe, but to know good from evil. So when we're looking at this light versus darkness, and we're saying one is good and one is evil, and the trick is that you think that God is the good guy, but the point is, which God are you talking about? Because just to say the word God doesn't specify who or what God you're talking about. So if your eyes are open and your eyes are only based on what you can see by way of the light, then how do you know that this eye that they're called a third eye, which you don't see, which is in darkness? It's in darkness because it's not like these two eyes that are in front of your face that can only see the visible light spectrum, yeah, which is an illusion, because what you're really seeing is fractals or reflection of light or photons, right? Because when you start to just break down the word light and go and do some research on it, you're going to see you're dealing with photons when you start to go scientific. And scientifically, light breaks up. Light breaks up when you put it through a prism, yeah? Put light through a prism and it breaks up into the visible light spectrum, yeah, which shows you all the colors. The colors that, people see as, the rainbow going from the red all the way to purple, which is ultraviolet. So when Nuapians, or we saying Wu-Sabat, you need to be undarkened, what we're saying is you need to go back to a state before there was light. Everything that happens in darkness, like when a baby is growing in the mother's womb, the baby is in darkness. When your real eye, this one, which is referred to as the third eye, yeah, the real eyes, yeah, we say realize. With this third eye, the real eye, you realize, play on words, as you know, yeah, you realize when your real eyes are open that everything you see around you, what you're doing, that you're seeing by way of the visible light, which is limited to a specific spectrum, or out of all the light that there is, yeah, you can only see a small portion. So you can't see the rest of the things that are hidden in darkness or in states beyond what you can see. But it doesn't mean that it's not there or you cannot feel it. So the gods of light, which is what religions use and push, okay, because even when you're crossing over, they tell you come into the light, or people will tell you when they've had what they call a near-death experience that they saw a white light and they were being ushered into this white light. But yet we know that everything that happens in darkness is beyond what you can see. So your third eye being open, because remember, when you start to go downward from that third eye and other, what people refer to as the chakras, they go along your spinal column, and these are energy centers that vibrate that you need to align or raise up in vibration to open this third eye, which will give you a real eyes to be able to see beyond the visible light. So the elite, okay, the elite, or the people that are up here running the world, who many refer to as the Illuminati. It's actually interesting because I saw that the protest that was taking place here in England with Mr. Robinson and the lot, and then they had Elon Musk come on there, and I guarantee you most people didn't study or watch his t-shirt, because on his t-shirt he had a similar symbol like this. He said something about Orwell. You'd have to go and look at the footage, but he had the eye like this. He had a circle like this with an eye in it, okay? And then he had a quote that said something. Most people probably didn't even see or study that t-shirt or looked into who is Orwell. Now, Orwell is George Orwell, dealing with the book he wrote called 1984. George Orwell, 1984. And ironically, this week I was watching the movie called The Day the Earth Stood Still. Please go back and watch that movie. movie now. I think there are two versions. One was like 2008 and the other one might have been in the 80s. I'm saying all this to say that the alignment of what we've been teaching in Wu-Sabat, that's all coming to pass and unfolding in front of your eyes when you start to realize, open your third eye so you can see the technology in terms of how everything is turned back to front. Why in religion they talk so much about light. And when you start to study light, light has variation. If you think about it, the trick is to look at the word light and then think about the word fire, okay? Because there's a big difference. Because when you think about light today, you really think about electricity and you think about the lights that we see around. But before that type of light was available, light was mainly fires, yeah? Because you had to use, go back to like the Flintstones, they will get rocks and strike together to make fire and, have a burning bush and have a burning fire of wood, right? That's how you would see things back when there was no electricity in the way that we see it today by way of light. So there's a big difference between fire and light. And we have a scroll called the God of Light and Fire. It's significant because when you look at fire, like if you have a gas cooker, for example, and you turn on the gas, you light a match or whatever you use to ignite the flame, you will see that it's going to be what? Blue. And there are fires that are blue, there are fires that are yellow, fires that are green, etc., etc. Now, when you look at the light spectrum, you will see that the visible light spectrum going from, as I said, from the red, because red is a very important color, because when you start to break down light into its vibration and frequencies, then you're going to see that red deals with carnal desires, it deals with danger. If you look at the signs around, like fire extinguishers, just look around where red is used, it's normally an alert to danger. It agitates you by way of its vibration and frequency. And if you look at different colors, like, the blue, etc., etc., you're going to see that as you climb up, going up, even dealing with these chakras that I mentioned, you're going to go all the way up. And the one here is going to be that purple or violet, ultraviolet, like when you look at the sun, because again, the sun, why I mentioned the orb, or when you see this eye in the middle of the cornerstone or the capstone of the pyramid, it's an eye. When you look at that symbol that I just mentioned Elon Musk was wearing, it's an eye. You start to look at these round symbols, you're looking at a symbol of the sun, and the sun is also a fire, yeah, a ball of fire burning, yeah, hydrogen and helium, yeah. This is what the sun is. It's a live fire, a ball of atomic energy that is burning, and it's warming and keeping us alive from its rays. So that symbolically, like the eye, you see the eye of Horus, the eye of Osiris. Even like if you look at Hindu religion, and they put a dot right there, what they call the third eye. And Islam speaks about it, they refer to it as the evil eye. But as I said, when you're dealing with Lucifer, he's supposed to be dealing with darkness, and God is supposed to be dealing with light. But it's back to front. They push you to be enlightened. When Wu-Sabat, we tell you need to be endarkened. And the reason you need to be endarkened is because you don't see with these two eyes the real things that are going on. You see with the hidden eye that is in darkness, called the pineal gland, okay, which works with other glands like the pituitary gland. And these are the eyes that you need to use, the dark eye, to connect back to where they say what? You open up to connect to what they will call God, right? But we know that when we're dealing with being endarkened, the gods we're talking about are etheric, yeah? Ether, 9 ether beings, which is beyond the sight. When you start going beyond sight, you're starting to use darkness. You're starting to go to where God resides, where God is in darkness. Why he said, let there be light. Where everything happens in darkness, your mind, you can't see your mind. You can see your brain and see your head where the brain resides, but really the pineal gland is in the center of what you're calling your brain, which then connects you to the etheric world, yeah, the etheric world which you cannot see, which is in darkness. The ether, the darkness, the dark energy, dark matter resides outside of light. So those in the light can only see a limited amount, can only feel a limited amount. And the ones who have been able to utilize the best of that light, they've turned it into fire and fire worship. And they're the ones, the most intelligent ones, deal with 6 ether. This is going back to your Freemasons and the people like Albert Pike and all these people that are here at the top, the families that are illuminated or have been given a little information or insight by way of them going into ancient Egypt, where our ancestors already had the knowledge that was given to others, but only a small percentage or portion of it. And so when you look on the walls of Egypt, you will see they were already using light bulbs and had electricity and had technology and advancement in every shape or form that those who are running the world today by way of fire. Why is fire important? Because they tell you that the devil, because remember, there's darkness and good, or light versus darkness, and one being good as in God being in the light and the devil being in fire or in hell. The devil is supposed to be in hell where there's a burning fire, where you're going to go on be burned up. And the reason they say that is because that's all dealing with six ether and dealing with fire. So you have to learn about the real light, the true light. If you go back and listen to the recordings that the master teacher started when he started his mission of enlightening people and leading them into darkness, right? They were called true light, because there's a true light and there's a fake light. And this is what enlightenment does. It fools people into thinking that they're smart and they're knowledgeable and they know and they have the secrets and they are the ones that have the light. No, they have the fire. The light, the true light, is the green light. The green light. So what am I saying? I'm basically emphasizing that although you use these two eyes on your everyday activities and life, which is based on the visible light spectrum, which goes from red all the way to what we call ultraviolet, which then goes into darkness, because when you look into space, what do you see? You see stars. But these stars are what? Suns. The sun is the same as saying stars. Stars or suns are stars, meaning they're just a ball of gas, energy, hydrogen and helium transforming, constantly burning to produce that fire. But beyond those stars, all the stars are engulfed in darkness. Light cannot escape the darkness because light has a speed and it is trapped within the darkness. That darkness is 9 ether. So you as a being have to be able to become endarkened. Obviously, light and dark ties into racism and light-skinned people and dark-skinned people. But that's all games, because you're dealing with reflections of energy that are vibrating on a particular frequency. And coincidentally, all light combines brings what? Black or darkness. So again, see the darkness versus light and the trick from you being enlightened. So now stop saying you're enlightened. Say you're endarkened and travel back into darkness. Your mind is in darkness. It's not in your head. It's got to travel beyond, going up into the ether to tap into that power, that darkness, dark energy, dark matter, right? They tell you that 24% of your brain is what you're using in terms of your DNA, right? But there's 76% that's in darkness, or what they call junk DNA, because they don't know about it or they can't tap into it. Just like when you start to look at the stars, the billions and billions of stars, when you're looking into the darkness, they say the same thing. Like 76% of it is unknown, or what they, like I keep saying, they call it dark matter, dark energy, and they go all into the science of trying to break down what it is. But we keep telling them we are from that etheric realm as 9 ether beings, supreme beings of Wu-Sabat. That's why we've been sent someone that coming down here from that etheric realm. The vibration comes into the green light, the true light, which is green light. Ask me why. Well, look around you. Everything in nature that's healthy is green. That's not a coincidence. So these lights, however, that you see as red, blue, yellow, green in itself is a glitch color, because as you know, the primary colors are red, blue, and yellow, right? And when you mix those, like, that's how you get the different combinations of the other colors. But the green light, the being that comes here with that green healing light, comes from darkness, from the etheric realm. All right. So don't be fooled by this term of being enlightened. All the enlightened ones were the ones that were basically initiated and shown or given a small portion of information, and they've used that light or fire, to be more appropriate, to blind you. And some people will stare into the sun as a ritual or a religious practice and go blind, because light does blind. If you point light into someone's eyes, after a while they're going to be like that. All right. So the real darkness is where you want to go to. Michael Jackson says it doesn't matter if you're black or white. These are all the things that we do do to what? Continually promote these ideas of black and white, which, as I said, ties into things like racism. But really, it doesn't matter about your color in the sense of your skin suit. It's more about the energy, and it's more about your consciousness, which is in darkness. It's more about your heart, which is in darkness because it's inside of you. It's more about how that baby is grown in the womb in darkness. It's all about darkness because God is in darkness, and those in the dark come to light by slowing down their vibration to deal with those that are blinded and they're only operating on like religion, because religion pushes the light. So I hope that's very clear today that you need to be endarkened. All right, so we're going to leave it there for today, but if you would obviously like to ask more questions and elaborate on anything we teach, you can send us your free questions, right, to OSM Vision. All you have to do is ask your questions on camera, record yourself, and upload them to osmvision.wetransfer.com. And we are here as OSM because our souls do matter. Our souls are in darkness. You have to activate that true light in darkness within you, known as your solar plexus. Solar again relates to the sun, to tap it into the green light, to heal yourself, to tap into opening your third eye, which is in darkness, to tap into the higher realms in darkness, right, known as nine ether or etheric realm. You need to tap into that, because without you opening up and escaping the visible, that's why people go into meditation, because they will stop, shut away from their surroundings and go in deep into darkness. So we're making it very clear, OSM Vision, we're here to save souls. Our souls do matter. Send your questions in and we will answer them for you. Until next time, my name's Saken Wadu.